Welcome, everybody, to episode 4 of the Rogue Marketer. I am Mitch Barham, your host, founder, owner of Barham Marketing, a digital marketing and consulting agency. We are happy to have you here. I'm happy to have you here. Thank you for watching. If you've listened to all 4 or watching it on YouTube or wherever else, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend it with me. Today, I want to talk about the influence of AI on digital marketing in different ways that I use it in digital marketing on a daily basis, with different ways you can use it in your business for digital marketing, or if you're a marketer or business owner, however. So I'm sure most people have heard of, Chat GPT, but like only 14% of Americans have actually used Chat GPT, which is mind blowing to me because it's such a huge tool. But at the same time, I shouldn't be shocked because it is very early. In theory, it is early for adoption of this, and people don't know how to use it yet, right? They don't understand prompts, they don't understand prompt engineering. They just want to give it one line, and then it's like, well, it sucks. It didn't give me what I wanted. Well, that's because you didn't give it everything it needed, so they don't know how to use it. But within my agency, and really life, I mean, there's multiple ways that we use it. So like, first off, let's just start with copywriting. I mean, this thing, ChatGPT 4, is 100% coming for copywriters. It is able to generate ad copy very quickly. And again, the quality of copy that you get back is going to heavily rely upon how well you prompt it, what you tell it. So a good example is, like, I'll tell you exactly how I prompt it for, like, let's say a Facebook ad. I'll say you have to tell it what it is, what it's tasked with, and then give it information. So I'll say you are a Facebook ad copywriting expert. You are tasked with writing copy for X business that sells X product or provides such and such service. The benefits of this service or product are this, the demographics are these, and keep it under 500 characters. Submit. Then it'll spit it out. The first one's not usually ever the greatest, so then I refine it, based on what I didn't like. I'll say, rewrite that with this, or remove that, or adjust the tone, to be more human, more relaxed, fun. Okay, rewrite it, but create more FOMO. We want to create demand, and it'll rewrite it. So I might go through like 2 or 3 iterations and then essentially use that as a springboard for the ad copy and the ads that we're creating. So I don't use exactly what it says, but it gets me like 75 to 80% of the way there, right? Versus the old way of having to sit down and be in a creative mindset that we can type out, ad copy. And being able to save this time is absolutely tremendous. And, it can crawl the internet as well. So I can also give it a link to the product page, the service page, and say, hey, here's a link to their website for your reference. Use it, use the information you find in the ad copy as well. And then refine it, take it, tweak it a little bit wherever I think it needs to be tweaked to sound more human, take some words out, remove emojis that it likes to throw in there randomly, and then, test that out. We can also have it create like the Facebook headline. So tell it, hey, based on this ad copy, create. When it comes to headlines, I like to really have it give me like 5, to choose from instead of just 1. So I'll say create 5 Facebook ad headlines that relate to this ad copy and are under 60 characters. And then it'll spit out 5. And again, gets me about 80% of the way there. Tweak it, pop it in there, implement it. That is literally how I use it almost on a daily basis when it comes to Facebook ads, being able to do copywriting through there. Another good way that we use it and the influence it's having is like email subject lines. You can feed it a bunch of info. Again, it has to do with your prompt. But if you feed it the right info about what the email is about, who it's for, what your goal is, the tone, all that stuff, it'll spit. You could tell it how many spit me out 10. Give me 10 headlines or email subject lines, and boom, it'll spit out 10. Now you're like 80% of the way there again, right? It just saves all this time. And what I like to also do with these email subject lines is like essentially kind of split test them too, right? So I have a couple, take them, use a split test, and then whichever one wins that split test, it use a Klaviyo or whoever you use will send out that email to the full list. So on top of the copywriting, just to kind of keep going with copywriting, is even Google Ads. It does a much better job if you have it attached to the internet of keyword research, giving you an idea of where to kind of work. You can then take those keywords and plug them into like the keyword planner, SEMrush, Ahrefs, stuff like that to get even more detail. But again, it's a great for a springboard by feeding it the website and what they do or what the service or the product is. Here's a list. Some of them might come back really silly, but you can then take those, use it as a springboard to cut down the time it takes you to do keyword research. Then it comes to the Google Ads. You can have it write tons of Google ad headlines, the descriptions, the site link descriptions, everything, right? It's all about saving time. So really, for me, so far, AI has just saved a bunch of time. The one thing we don't really use a lot when it comes to AI right now is image creation. So, we do have a Midjourney subscription, but we don't use it for ads. It's getting better. I mean, it's almost there, but it's not something that we like to use inside of ads yet, or really inside of the business. But we're keeping an eye on it, seeing how it's updating, testing it. It's definitely something I know in the future is going to be integrated right into our technology stack. But for right now, we don't do any of that. When it comes to content, like this podcast will be taken, uploaded into a short form AI content generator and chopped up into little pieces, right? So I like to use video. I think it's video.ai. And I can literally take my podcast video here, my TikTok lives, my Instagram lives. I save those, I upload it, and it will create like 30 something clips. Some are the same variation, just different headlines. And then go, okay, yeah, I want to use that one. I can edit the length of it. Maybe it's missing a few things. I can change the template, the look of it. But no longer we have to spend hours chopping up content or pay a video editor to chop up content, add captions, add headlines, add cool graphics. I can literally just upload it. It does it. And so we're able to create tons of micro content from long form content in, a half hour versus like 4, 5, 6 hours. It just saves so much more time and it's so much more efficient. We're doing the same thing for clients where it's like they have a long form video. Perfect. We take that, throw it into there, chop it up. Everybody's happy. It's just making everything so much more efficient. One of the biggest questions I tend to get is, am I afraid that AI is going to come for my industry or my job, like my business? And my answer to that is always, no, I'm really not. I believe there should be people that are worried about it. I do believe if you are not an early adopter, if you don't become an expert in this and realize how much more efficient it's going to make you, you definitely can be, afraid, because it's made us 10 times as efficient, since last November of 2022. We're 10 times more efficient. We can handle 10 times as much per person because it doesn't take as long, right? So profit margins are higher. I don't have to charge clients as much money because we're so much more efficient. So that's a quick, an easy savings all the way around. Like, it saves us time, saves the clients money, and everybody wins. Another cool thing that you can use with, AI, and I've had to do it a couple times, is writing code, or debugging code, and saying, hey, because I don't know if you have ever dealt with WordPress, but Elementor has literally introduced AI into Elementor, where you type in what you want and it gives you the code that you need to plug in. That's huge. Adobe Express has made it to where you can go text to image. So I recently saw a video of a gentleman who was inside of Adobe, said, "Hey, I want a Maltese jumping through a hoop," and the prompt was better than that, but it was create me an image of a Maltese dog jumping through a hoop, and photorealistic. And it gave him three images. The first two were almost there, but then the third one looked like a real dog jumping through a hula hoop in the background. Blew my mind. I was like, wow. But keep in mind, this stuff is still very infantile. It's very beta. Like it's very new. So it's where it's heading is going to be absolutely insane with what we'll be able to create. You can pretty much deep fake yourself or anybody else that you want right now. And they obviously look like deep fakes because it's really just the mouth and part of the face moving, and the body's so super rigid. But the fact that we can already do that, like with how quickly AI moves and gets smarter within a year, I think within a year, this stuff is going to be super smart. Chat and produce amazing looking videos, amazing looking images. The copywriting ability is going to get 10,000 times better, especially with like Chat GPT 5 coming out at the end of 2023. It's going to the data sets that it's going to be trained on has so many zeros. I don't even know the number or how to even say the number. It's just huge, right? Like, and then as soon as we hit I think it's AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, it's game over. Like you're going to be able to create almost virtual assistants that are AI, right? You're going to have a list of conversations or AI personas that literally do things specific to that conversation, which we do right now. The downside is eventually they forget what they're doing and you have to remind them, or they like get kind of, I forget what the actual term is, but for a lack of technical term, they get confused and you can't get them back on track, right? Like it's just doing kind of its own thing, or taking old commands, cross-contaminating them into new commands. So then you got to start all over, which really isn't that big of a deal. But just think in a year when you can actually have things like, I think it's Auto GPT or Agent GPT, where you have those kind of personas, but you don't have to sit there and actually like tell it, yeah, keep going. You give it a specific command, a specific job, it goes out and does it. That's going to be huge for all businesses. That's going to make everything so much more efficient. But again, I go back to if you're not already playing around with it and figuring out how to use it, you're potentially going to be left behind. And everybody who knows how to use it is going to excel. Like they're going to win. They're going to keep their jobs. There might be a whole new segment of business that's created of, AI coaches or AI prompt engineering within businesses. So you have you have your HR department. Maybe we'll end up with an AI prompt department, an AI department that really focuses on teaching everybody inside the business and making sure they are up to date on the latest developments and how to use it. But within digital marketing, it's really just elevated results, elevated our efficiency, and allowed us to not charge an arm and a leg to clients because it doesn't take as much time to do the tasks that it took, well, literally little over a year ago. I mean, this is July right now. So a year ago, you were still handwriting everything, having to think about it. There was no automatic boom kicks it out. I mean, I had this thing create a in-depth 12-week training course on a topic, and it probably would have taken me 2 hours to whiteboard it out up here, maybe an hour at best. It spit it out in 10 seconds. I just fed it the right info. Then it was like, boom, here's your topics per week. here's your subtopics, here's what you should show, here's what you should teach. It was like, it blew my freaking mind. I was like, holy crap. It just did something that would take me an hour in like 10, 30 seconds. So I definitely think that everybody, if you're listening to this, even if you're not in digital marketing, you need to understand how to use AI. Like, it's AI as it is now, even though it's not truly AI, it's more machine learning. But as we get closer to AGI, that will be a game changer. You definitely need to be knowing how to use it, how to implement it into your business. What kind of processes or systems can you have that will just be so much more efficient if you were to have AI integrated into it, and it can be integrated into many, many, many different kinds of businesses. It can write your emails for you, it can write courses for you, it can do copywriting content for you, all kinds of stuff. So as usual, I appreciate you being here, spending the last 15 minutes with me, listening to me blabber. And, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, post them in the comments below. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will be sure to keep pumping out content. Hopefully you find value from it. And I will catch you guys all on the next episode of The Rogue Marketer.